Hi, welcome to our yoga practice and thank you for joining me. First, find your comfortable seat on your mat. If you're used to having props available to you during your practice, definitely have your blanket or your blocks nearby. Remember, guys, listen to your body. There shouldn't be any pain at all, right? It's okay to have intense sensation when stretching and using your muscles, but definitely listen to your breathing. It'll tell you if you're going a little bit too far. And try your best to let your ego off the hook as well. Just be in the moment and no judgment whatsoever. Okay, so let's close our eyes now. With eyes closed, just checking in on ourselves. So see how you're feeling right now. Go ahead and check physically first. And then shift gears and check on your thoughts and check on your mental. Okay, briefly checking in on your emotions. How are you feeling today? Okay, if we can, just let it go for now. And I want you to take one hand to your heart center and one hand on your belly. With hands in place, I want you to notice your breath, right? So just notice which hand is moving more. Notice if your hands are barely moving at all, too. Just no judgment, just check. So with that top hand, we're connecting to our heart, right? But the hand on the bottom on the belly, I want you to actively use that for your breath. So on the inhale breath, you'll just notice that hand move away from you, right? Toward the front of the room. And on the exhale, that hand gently pulls in back toward your spine. So I just want you to notice this for a few breaths. Good. The eyes can stay closed, but go ahead and relax your hands to your lap and keep that deep breath with you. So while you're breathing deeply, I want you to ask yourself, what do you need today? Whatever answer you get, I want you to tailor it into an I am statement, a short positive statement. So we'll start it with I am, and then you just fill in the blank, right? So I am, fill in the blank. Okay, once you've decided on that statement, keep it in your mind because we'll be using it throughout the class. All right, relocate your breath, make sure it's still deep. And then just take a moment to notice your posture as you're sitting on your mat. Right, find your tall spine here as you're seated. So tailbone down into the ground, but the very top of your spine lifting up to the ceiling or the clouds, wherever you're sitting. Right, so you've got that nice tall spine, but soften your shoulders, soften your face. And then from here, with a nice straight spine, even up into the neck, right? Cervical spine nice and tall, chin is parallel to the ground. We're going to start to drop the chin toward your heart, right? So bend that chin down toward the ground. And then we're just going to do some half circles here, everybody, right? So we're going to take that chin and slide it over toward one shoulder until you find that spot where you can feel a good stretch. And then gently let the neck swing back down through center of your chest and over to the other shoulder. And then once you feel the stretch on the other side, we're just going to go back and forth here, guys. Okay, so if you'd like to link it with the breath, it's an exhale as the chin moves toward the heart, and an inhale as the chin moves away from the heart. Right? So it's an exhale while the chin moves back to center, inhale as the chin moves toward one shoulder. Let's do that a couple more times. And last time, you're inhaling the chin toward one shoulder, exhaling the chin toward the heart, and inhaling to the other shoulder, The next time your chin makes its way to the heart center, pause there, take a deep breath. Then on the next inhale, lift your head on top of the spine again. Great. Spine is nice and tall. We're going to take the fingertips to the floor on either side of us. Go ahead and draw your fingers to the ground. Right, shoulders are soft. But on the inhale breath, I want you to sweep those arms all the way up to the sky. The hands can stay shoulder width apart or they can touch. And then on the exhale breath, palms face down, fingertips melt the floor again. So go ahead, inhaling the arms up to the sky and exhaling as they float back down to the ground. One more time. Inhaling, arms sweep up to the ceiling. Exhale, they gently fall back to the floor with mindfulness. Great. And now from here, since we've been sitting like this for a little bit, I want you to switch the legs. You'll see if you look down, if you're in a cross-legged seat, that one leg is in the front, one leg is in the back. So just switch it up. Put the other leg in front, other leg in back. Nice. And then from here, I want you to inhale both arms overhead again. Keep them up there. All right. And then we're going to just fall forward so that your hands touch the ground in front of you. It doesn't matter how far you can bend. Don't worry about it. Just letting your spine round and your head drop for a couple breaths here. Seeing what's going on in that back and those hips a little bit as well. If this feels okay, I want you to walk both hands over to the right side of your mat. Just enough until you feel a nice gentle pull through the left ribs. Doesn't have to be crazy. Find where you need to be today. Just breathing into that whole left side body from armpit to waist. All right, let's walk our hands back to the center. Get to the center, take a deep breath. All right, guys, let's walk those hands over to the left side of our mat. Each side is different, so check in on your right ribs, your right hip. Only go as far as your body tells you it's okay. And then once you get there, just breathe, and I want you to repeat your I am statement. Okay, walk your hands back to the center. Take a nice deep breath at center. And then we're just going to inch those hands back toward our body so we're sitting nice and tall again. So come on back to seated. Nice tall heart, shoulders soft. Great. From here, everyone, we're going to take those knees, lift them up towards you so you can straighten your legs out in front of you. So go ahead and just sit in Dandasana, staff pose, where your legs are extended, feet are flexed. Remember, if you have a lot of tightness, you can bend your knees or sit on your block or your blanket. So just feel like you're sitting nice and tall, tailbone down, head lifting, hands just resting next to you right by the sides. I want you to focus on your thigh muscles, your ab muscles. We're going to use the hip flexors here a little bit as well. So when you're ready, I want you to lift one leg right off the mat, just about an inch or so. It looks simple, but it's not, right? So hold that leg up there, breathe deep. If it's too much, bend your knee or just drop your leg to the mat, no big deal. If you're still up there, take one more deep breath. All right, relax that leg to the floor. Take a breath. And let's do the other leg. So think about your abs being engaged and then lift the other leg just an inch off the ground, right from the hip. Right, sitting bones grounded, but the entire leg lifted. Breathe deep. If you can't breathe deep, you need to bend a little bit or drop the leg. All right, slowly lower that leg to the ground, and then everybody bounce your knees a little bit like you're running in place just to get some of that tension out of your legs. Perfect. Okay, let's bend those knees and take the feet flat on the floor in front of us. So those feet are about hip distance apart, and we're going to take our hands underneath our thighs right behind the knees a little bit. Lift the heart nice and high and relax your shoulders down the back. We're coming into Navasana, boat pose, for those of you who know where I'm going with this. Right, so heart is lifted. There's a little string attached from your sternum to the ceiling. You're not going to let that go. And you're going to see if you can just find that spot between tailbone and sitting bones where you're hovering your feet off the floor. And this might be it for some of us. That's great. If you want a little deeper, you're going to lift your feet to knee height. And if that feels easy for you, you can remove the hands off the legs and just have them hovering there next to your legs, holding boat pose. I know there's one more option here. If you're advanced, you can straighten your legs, but keep that heart lifted and that spine nice and tall. Wherever you are in your boat pose, we're going to gently lower those feet back to the floor. Now, take those feet together, soles of the feet, as the knees splay open. So if you look down here, you have a big diamond shape between your legs. So if your heels are close into your seat, go ahead and move them out in front of you a little bit more. And if you have sensitive knees, go ahead and take your blocks under the outsides of your legs. All right, find your tall spine, shoulders soft. Find your breath. And then as you're ready, we're just going to circle the upper body. So go ahead and move your torso around in a circle. Right, your back, your hips will tell you how deep to go, if those circles are small or if those circles are large. So just go ahead and swing the upper body. Really good for back pain here. Breathe deep. When it feels natural, I'm going to have you switch directions of those circles. So go ahead and switch it up, going the opposite direction. All right, everybody, when you're ready, coming back tall to sit. We're going to take both those knees over to one side so you can transition into a table pose. You're going to come onto your hands and your knees. So take a moment to get there. Take your time. Line up your knees under your hips and your hands under your shoulders. You're going to spread those fingers nice and wide and try to remember to press through the knuckles and not jam into the wrist, right? So we've got that. Our spine is tall, our belly's gently pulling in. We're going to go ahead and find our cat-cow just to warm up our spine, everyone. So on the inhale breath, the belly will just sink to the floor, right? So we're going to stretch the front spine by letting the tailbone tip forward, right? And we push the ground away from us as our heart lifts up to the sky too. So tailbone, heart lifting up to the sky. And then on the exhale breath, tuck your tail underneath, round your back, drop your head, still pushing the ground away from you though. On the inhale breath, again, belly sinks to the floor, heart lifts, and then exhale into your cat again, round that spine. We do one more time, inhaling to come into the cow where the belly's getting the stretch. And then exhale into cat, back stretching, tuck tailbone, drop your head. On the next inhale, come to a regular table pose, hands and knees. All right, everybody, from here we're going to come into child. Take the seat and move it toward your heels, right? So shifting back onto your feet with your hips. Your knees can be wide apart or tight together depending on where you need to be in your child's pose. If you can, get that forehead to touch the mat, and if it doesn't touch the mat, grab your block or your blanket so you can rest. So for our first child's pose, you can go ahead and take those arms by your legs, palms face up, so you can really feel the surrender of the pose. And that anytime during the practice, you can come right back here and just relax in your child's pose. While we're here, I want you to repeat your I am statement. Okay. We're going to be eventually moving to down dog. Let's measure it out here in child's pose. So sweep your arms in front of you now. Your hands are shoulder width apart. So your arms are straight, your elbows are off the ground, but check your shoulders. Be sure that your shoulder blades feel like they're moving down your back towards your hips. At the same time, your fingers are moving toward the front of your mat. So there is activity in those arms. Your hips are as low as they're going to go. This should be a good measure for your next down dog. So we're going to lift the hips up. You're going to tuck your toes underneath, and those toes tuck about hip distance apart. We're going to lift the knees off the mat, lift the hips high to the sky, and drop the head in your down dog. If this is too much for you, just come back to the knees, no big deal. But if you're okay here, finding your downward facing dog, you feel like your hips are lifting super, super high. Your head is nice and heavy. There's no tension in the neck. Check the weight is not jamming in the wrist again, that you're spreading the weight, maybe feeling the pressure more in the bottom of the index and the thumb, inward rotation in those forearms, shoulders away from ears. We'll take a few deep breaths here. All right, down dog. If you are ready, you're going to gaze to the front of your mat and you're going to walk your feet all the way to the front of your mat. So you're in a really lazy ragdoll, lazy forward fold position. So let your upper body be like that bowl of spaghetti, right? Really loose. But your legs are strong underneath you. You can soften those knees as much as you need to and feel real strength in those legs. So begin to notice the four corners of the feet. The toes are soft and relaxed. Engage the muscles in the legs and the abs. We're going to start to roll up nice and slow to our mountain pose, standing nice and tall in Tadasana. So take your time, go nice and slow because you've been upside down for a while. Once you get to the top, finding your mountain, right? If you're new to yoga, finding those feet maybe hip distance apart. They can also be together as long as the midlines of your feet are parallel to each other, right? Your tailbone draws down, shoulders draw down, crown of the head lifts up. See if you can soften your face a little bit. And then find that deep breath that we started class with. Is it still there? Just get a little flow going, just a gentle flow. So from your mountain pose with your arms down by your sides, we're going to inhale and sweep those arms all the way up overhead. On your exhale, you're going to fold forward, letting your arms drop down and coming into your forward fold. On your inhale, slide your hands up your shins enough to come to a flat back, shoulders away from ears, belly in. And exhale, fold back to the ground and let it all go. Now engage those abs. Inhale, come all the way back up, reversing your swan dive so your arms come all the way over your head, palms touch. And then exhale, your palms right at your heart center. So we're going to do that again. Ready, guys? Inhale, sweeping those arms up. Exhale, dive into your forward fold. Inhale, come halfway up, half lift. And exhale, fold back into the legs. Inhale, sweeping your arms all the way back overhead, reversing your swan dive. Exhale, hands at heart. Let's do that one more time. Get it? Ready? Inhale those arms all the way over the head. Exhale, forward fold, softening knees if you need to. Inhale, come into your half lift. Exhale, fold into the legs. Inhale, reverse the swan dive. Come all the way to the sky with the arms. And exhale, hands at heart. All right, nice. From here, we're going to move into a little warrior one. So wherever you are on your mat, have the right foot in the front, and then step that left foot back behind you. That left foot back behind you is about 45-degree angle or so, but rotating that left hip forward. The hips don't have to be exactly in line with each other, but have enough space between your feet so that your hips can face the front-ish of your mat, right? So we've got that going. Take your hands on your hips as well, just till we get started here. Good. Now draw your tailbone down and bend that right knee. Right, so warrior one legs. You should feel a gentle pull through the front of that left hip flexor, maybe even the back calf, right? Drawing your tailbone down. That right knee is safely over that right ankle or behind it, but not past it. If your right knee passes your ankle, you could probably take a little wider stance in your warrior one. So figuring that out for yourself. Feel both legs strong. Hips are dropping, but lengthen through your ribs now and draw your arms over your head. Right, so neck is nice and tall in line, chin parallel to the ground. But check on your eyeballs. See if you can gaze upward without moving your head. And then take your deep breaths in your warrior one. All right, everyone, draw your hands back to your hips for a moment. And now straighten your front leg, that right leg, without locking the knee. Right, so engage both quadriceps even though the legs are straight. Both legs are straight now. Inhale, lift your heart to the sky. Exhale, start to fold forward at your hips with a flat back, but don't round your spine. Keep it nice and straight for now. And once you get to that spot where the back of your right leg is talking to you, right, you can feel that stretch, just breathe into it. We never want to rush and go to the extreme version of the pose, right? You always want to baby yourself getting into it. That way you'll eventually go deeper. So if you choose to, right, if you don't have high blood pressure and you're okay, you're going to let your upper back round, your whole back actually, round over that right leg. You can even draw your fingertips to the ground or to blocks. But you have the choice to remain straight with hands on hips. Feel like your right hip pulls toward the back of the mat, the left hip pulls forward. Breathe deep. And let's repeat your I am statement again. Right, ground through both legs and your abdominals and start to inhale yourself up to stand nice and slow. We got one more pose coming, everybody. So from here, rebend that front leg. So right knee's bent. We're going to hop that back foot in a foot or two, so all your weight comes to your right leg. You feel free to use those left toes as a kickstand, the ball of the foot. You don't even have to take the left foot off the ground. But if you're up for a little balance, we're going to move into a gentle version of Warrior 3. So soften that right knee a little bit. Get all your weight to your right leg. If you feel safe enough, look at a little spot on the floor and lift your left toes off the mat. So coming into your version of Warrior 3, where their hips are level to the ground, belly is in, and you're lifting that left leg only as high as your body allows today. If you've been practicing a while and you want to go for it, you can also extend your arms beyond your head. All right, everybody, ready? Slowly, slowly, we're just going to let that left leg come down so the left foot meets the right foot, releasing the hands down by the side and you're back in your mountain pose. And close your eyes for a moment and just feel the difference in your legs. Feel the right leg and feel the left leg. Present moment awareness. Nice. So wherever you are in your mat, the right foot's going to step back or the left foot forward depending on where you landed. So now the left foot is in the front. The right foot is back behind you at about 45 degrees. You've got hip distance those feet or wider if you need to. Hands on hips, start to bend that left knee for Warrior 1. Right, so front leg is bent, back leg is straight, tailbone dropping down. Heart lifting, shoulders back, belly in. And if you're up for it, sweeping your arms up to the sky for Virabhadrasana 1. Sweeping your hands back to your hips. We're going to straighten that left leg now. So both legs are straight. Be being really careful not to lock your knees. All right, so heart is lifted. We're going to start to fold at our hip sockets forward and stay with that flat back for a few breaths. Reaching the left hip back and the right hip forward. And you're just breathing, pulling that belly in to support your back. And you can stay here for the rest of the pose. If you choose to go a little deeper for the stretch part, you're going to go ahead and let your whole upper body round over that front leg. Fingertips either to the floor, to blocks. They could stay on the hips, but then it'll make it more of a balancing pose, so that's up to you. If you did round your spine, make sure your head is in line with that spine. It's also dropping. Here we go, guys. You're going to ground through both legs, both feet. Feel where your abs are. You're going to need them. Start to roll yourself back up to stand. Big inhales, don't get dizzy. Once you come all the way back up, we're going to come into our warrior three. So soften that left knee a little bit. Start to hop your back foot in so all your weight comes into your left leg. Find a little gazing point somewhere. And then start to shift weight to that left leg as maybe the right toes come off the floor for warrior three. Again, this is your practice. You go as shallow or deep into the pose as your body says it needs today, not your ego. See if you can repeat your I am statement in a pose like this. All right, begin to slowly shift out of warrior three where both of your feet will meet on the ground, your arms fall down by your sides, and you're back in your mountain pose. All right, so we're going to release some of that. I want you to soften your knees just an inch or two. Find your hip hinges and just fall forward at your hips, coming into a forward fold, really letting your head go. Drop your head. Breathe deep. And now from our Uttanasana, our forward fold, we're going to start to just bend the knees down here, guys. And find a seat on the floor, however that is easiest for you. We're going to find our seat on the floor and extend the legs straight out in front of us. All right, so we're finding our staff pose or our Dandasana first. Just like we did earlier in the class, our legs are straight, our feet are flexed, yet we can bend the knees if we need that assistance. So just going to go for a nice forward fold here, guys. Draw your tail down. Inhale, sweep your arms up over your head so your shoulders are dropping though. Notice your heart and feel like it's lifting up to the sky. So lift the heart the whole way as you start to fold forward over the legs, lifting the heart as much as you can. As you come all the way down over your legs, you're going to melt your hands into the floor and eventually round your spine and drop your head. If this is too much, of course, come up a little bit or bend your knees. If your head is somewhat close to the floor, you can stack a block or two and rest your forehead on that. Wherever you are, we're just going to breathe here, starting to settle down. And once you've come into the pose fully, I want you to repeat your I am statement. All right, take one more huge deep breath here in Paschimottanasana. Beautiful. So with mindfulness, right, we're going to start to peel our body up off the legs, coming to a nice tall spine. And then once we come all the way up to seated, we're going to start to recline and go ahead and lay down on the mat. We've just got a couple more poses before relaxation. So take a moment and get down to the ground as much or as easy as you can. And once you get down there, we're just going to take a second, just noticing how it feels to lay on the mat. Noticing your breath. And then as you're ready, your spine is tall on your mat, You're going to bend your knees and put your feet hip distance apart. Right, your spine is tall, your neck is long. I want you to take your right foot to your left knee. Right, and let your right knee fall away from your chest a little bit. So you're opening that right hip, basically moving into a reclining pigeon. So if you already feel something, you can stay right here. But if you need to deepen this pose, I want you to lift your left foot off the ground. So pull that left knee in towards you and reach through the hole there and grab onto the back of your left thigh with your hands. And just breathe here. If you don't feel a stretch, you're pulling that left knee closer in towards you. Or you could encourage that right knee to move away from your chest as well. You're breathing deep. So one more giant breath into that right hip. And then just take that left foot to the floor, releasing your grip on the thigh. Cross your right leg deeper over your left leg. Okay, draw your arms out to a T on the mat and let both legs fall over to the left side, moving into your reclining twist. If you have neck issues, just keep your neck straight and you're looking up toward the sky. If you want a little extra, you can gaze over your right shoulder. So staying in the moment here, everybody, focus on your lungs. Feel the movement in your ribs. Notice how the pose feels on the inhale versus the exhale. All right, we're going to draw those knees all the way back up to the ceiling. The gaze is at the ceiling. And then uncross that right leg. Take a breath. Feel your spine on the mat. If it doesn't feel straight, definitely straighten it out. And then we're going to take that left foot to the right knee. Okay, left thigh falls away from you. Pull the right knee in as you grab hold of the back of your right thigh or even the right shin for some people. Just holding here in this pigeon pose. Listen to what you need, right? Not your ego mind, but literally the tendons and the joints and the muscles. They will tell you how far to go. Listen to them. All right, everybody, here we go. We're just going to let go of the thigh and let the right foot find the ground. Cross the left leg deeper over the right leg. Arms to your T, legs fall to the right. Right, that left hip comes right off the mat there. Shoulder blades trying to stay down on the ground. Breathing deep into the lungs, right? Your belly's being squished. It's not easy. Breathe as deep as you can. And once you feel like you can surrender to the pose, repeat your I am statement. One more breath here. All right, and very gently starting to come out of the twist, taking the knees back up to the ceiling and uncrossing them, evening out your spine. And then I want you to pull both knees into chest, grab hold of your shins, your knees, wherever you can reach. Take a breath here. And then if you want to, go ahead and rock side to side, massaging that low back. All right, if there are any other postures that you'd like to go ahead and do, go right ahead and squeeze those in here before we move into relaxation pose. Once you're done with whatever little last postures or fidgets, we're going to come to relax completely. So getting into that comfortable spot for you. A classic relaxation pose, you're just laying flat on your back, palms up and legs just flapped open. There's no effort in your body at all. If you have a sensitive back, you're welcome to bend those knees and rest your knees on each other as the feet are wide apart. Just find a comfortable position. We're going to close those eyes. And then we'll just take a moment to let all of those postures kind of sink in and let our body completely rest so it can feel renewed. So begin softening the feet a little bit here, relaxing those feet. Feel them heavy into the floor. Move that softness to your ankles. And then feel your shins and your calves completely let go of any tension that was there. Now it's gone. Relaxing both of your knees and letting the larger muscles in the upper legs and the thighs start to melt as well. Relax the glutes, the hips, the pelvis. Soften your entire back, lower, middle, upper, even your spine is heavy and sinking into the floor. Let the belly soften and the heart and the chest. Relax your shoulders, your upper arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, the backs of your hands, the palms of your hands. Let all tension drain out of your neck. Feel the back of the head heavy on the floor. Your scalp is soft, your forehead soft. Feeling the bridge of the nose melt and the cheekbones melt. The eyes relax. The mouth, the chin, and the jaw relax. Your whole body is soft. Here, I would like you to repeat your I am statement 3 times with intention. Now, if you need more time in Shavasana, please go ahead and take it now. But if you are ready to continue with your day, we're just going to bring our mind back to where we are. Where are your bodies laying? The room around you, the temperature. Start to notice your breath deepen. And basically take as much time as you need to start little teeny movements in the body. Nice and slow. Those movements can get a little bigger, but still slow, as you might eventually bend your knees and roll to your side. Take a couple breaths here on your side. And again, only when you're ready, you'll use your top hand to help you come up to seated. Finding your nice tall spine and joining your hands together at your heart. We're going to just bow to our own spirits, right? Bowing to yourself and others. Namaste.